I have a question for you. Would you, if you knew before you had started doing OF, knew definitively, like maybe you had a conversation with your parents, and your parents said, Lily, if you do this, our relationship is over. We are done. You're out of our lives. We're never going to talk to you again. Would you have not done OnlyFans?
If this was all before,
and they're like, you went to them and you're like, I'm thinking about doing this.
I think it's hard because I would not have then experienced what joy this has brought me. So I wouldn't have then like known, you know, is this going to actually be the career for me? Mm-hmm. So maybe it would have. But then again, I also think that if your parents gave you an ultimatum, it would just make you want to choose the thing that like fucks them off the most. Yeah, 100%. If your parents are going like, I will never speak to you again if you do this, as a teenage girl at 18, of course I would have took it.
Why? But so it wouldn't. So you would have taken the choice to just start your OnlyFans, knowing the entailment being the relationship with your parents is irreparably damaged. It's over, like for life. Would you still do it?
It depends, because right now I know the joy this job brings me, and so I can't put myself in that headspace that I was when I was 18.
How about this? What if
wait a second. That makes no sense. So, if it is the case they don't want you to do OnlyFans, and then you're going to do OnlyFans, but then they say they're going to disown you, and you're still going to do OnlyFans, why would it be a problem? Because it's the same result either way, right?
Say that again. Sorry, you were laughing a bit too much.
If it is the case that if they give you an ultimatum, you would do OnlyFans, but you're going to do OnlyFans without the ultimatum, then what do they lose by giving you the ultimatum?
I just meant in the sense of like, well, my parents then lose me if they give me this ultimatum. They lose contact with me.
So the idea here is, if they give you an ultimatum for behavior, that you're not going to talk to them again, so they have to concede to your behavioral standards.
I feel like I think I'm confused with what's going on.
If I have a behavioral standard for a person, if you do X, I don't want to be a part of your life, right? This is bad from my view, like, I don't know, murder, let's say, something like this. If it were the case that I gave them the ultimatum and then they went and did the activity anyway, versus I did not give them the ultimatum and then they still went and did the activity, what the hell do I lose by giving them the ultimatum? It sounds like giving them the ultimatum at least shows them where it is that you stand. You know what I mean?
No, because then if you gave me the ultimatum, then we say like you or my dad, we never talked again. So then you would never get contact with me.
Well, right. That would be you saying the behavioral standards of me you need to accept, versus them saying the behavioral standards I have you need to accept. So basically, you're just usurping behavioral standards from your parents, right? You're saying you need to either concede to my behavior or else. So it's actually you giving the ultimatum.
No, but at the end of the day, it's my career, it's my life, it's my job. This is a choice I get to make. It's, it's not down to my parents.
It's a choice you get to make, but you're saying if you don't agree with the choice, get the fuck out of here.
That's definitely...
You can't choose who your children are, right? They turn out like... You can pick and choose who your babies are. Like your job as a parent is to protect them and to love them. And if you could eat, meeny, miny, mo, and pick your perfect child every time...
No, that's not the job of a parent.
I'm sorry. I think unconditional love is very important when raising children.
No, I dispute that this is the job of a parent. I think one aspect of parenting would be to protect your child and to love your child. But love has many facilitations as to what that means. I think that holding standards for behavior is part of love, and I think boundaries is part of love. I think that I think that holding standards for behavior is part of loving somebody. The idea that if you love me, I can do whatever the fuck I want, regardless of your beliefs, to me is insane. That's the opposite of love to me.
But I think because my parents love me so much, they would way rather see me in a job I enjoy than, something I would hate and it'd make my life miserable and, it'd make me depressed. they would
But is
waiver
that
up.
love, though?
Pardon?
Like, here's what I mean. I'm thinking in my head, if you were going to do something which was against my standards as my kid, right, for behavior.
But my parents never laid down that law. That wasn't
No,
my
I
standards.
understand. I understand your situation. This may be different. You did kind of make it sound like they did. But anyway, that aside, if it is the case that I'm like, this behavioral standard is unacceptable to me, and they're like, well, I'm going to do it anyway, and you can either fucking deal with it or not, right? Then it's like, well, yeah, there's an ultimatum, I guess, on my side, but there's also an ultimatum on theirs, right? So the thing is from my view, though, shouldn't a parent kind of hold the line? Shouldn't the parent be like, no, this behavior, nonsense, needs to stop. Fuck that. It's damaging to you. It's damaging to society, and I'm not going to indulge in any of it. Like, how's that not love?
But you're
how's it love to just be like, do whatever the fuck you want? That doesn't sound like love.
The thing is, though, parents are there to guide them, not just absolutely abandon them, and things like that.
Well, that should be the kid abandoning the parents.
No, because
if
the parents are giving them an alternative
standard, and the kid is saying, but I'm not going to adhere to it, and unless you do, I'm not going to deal with you anymore. Isn't that the kid abandoning the parent?
I don't believe so.
Well, no, because no one really asked to be born. Like, we're all just...
That's like, I can just say, well, I didn't ask to be a parent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But whether you ask for it or not, it is the case you were born.
But
it just seems to me like the responsibility, putting all the responsibility, especially if you're an adult, on your parents, right?
Yeah, it's
you're
always
like,
the
if you want a
parents' fault.
relationship with me, I'm not going to adhere to your behavioral standards, or else. How do you not have culpability for this supposed abandonment, right?
But the thing is, you're an 18-year-old, you're an adult. Like, your parents can't give you an ultimatum and tell you exactly what to do at that age.
Yeah, they can. They can give you an ultimatum for the restrictions of the relationship they're willing to have with you based on behavior, of course. Like if a parent said, as long as you're out being a serial killer, I'm not going to have anything to do with you.
This is not murder.
I'm not saying it's murder.
Well, don't compare it to.
Hey, stop. I'm not saying it's murder. What I am saying is that they have the right to say, if you're engaged in this X behavior I find abhorrent, I'm using murder because it's easy to understand, right? I'm not going to have anything to do with you. Nobody would blame them.
But I think that would make them a bad parent if they just abandon them like that.
I think it makes you a bad kid to give an ultimatum for abandonment.
The kid isn't the one giving the ultimatum, though.
The kid is, actually. The kid is saying, I'm not going to conform to the behavioral standards.
Or I'm not going to conform to your views.
If you want me in your life, you will concede to my behavioral standards. That is actually an ultimatum.
But it's just like a agree to disagree of their views. Like the kid thinks that's totally fine to do, and the parent doesn't.
Right. So the thing is here is if the parent says this is not right, the problem I have here is that the counterclaim is, well, then you don't really love them. It's like, that seems stupid to me. It seems like, yes, you can definitely really love a person and not agree at all with the behavior.
So you'd never talk to your kid again if they did sex work.
Anything to do with them until the behavior changes. Why is that even bad?
So if you had a child and
I have.
Sorry, I don't know your background or family situation.
No, go ahead.
So
you can ask the question. Go ahead.
And she turned 18 and decided that she was going to take this route in life and do OnlyFans. Are you then giving them an ultimatum and saying, I'm not talking to you again if you're going to do this?
I think that me saying you're not conforming to behavioral standards that I find acceptable, and you can either do that and have a relationship with me or not, is the same exact thing they're saying to me. So I think they would be saying the same thing to me that I'm saying to them. So this seems mutual to me, or like both parties are giving this ultimatum. It's not just you, it's not just them. So if that's the case, yeah, I don't see a problem with that. If one of my kids said to me, I'm going to go off and be a prostitute, I'd say, well, here's the thing. I will always love you. There's nothing I can even do about that. If I wanted to, right, I'll still always love my children. But that doesn't mean that I'm ever going to support any of these behaviors. And until these behaviors stop, I'm not going to enable them.
So you wouldn't ever talk to your kid or anything like
Will
that?
they be at Christmas dinner?
What's that?
So will your gay or prostitute kid be at Christmas dinner?
Mm-mm.
But
No.
I personally deem that as like a bad parent if you're just going to abandon your kid.
Like a bad kid. because the kid...
Not really, because they're not doing anything wrong. Doing sex work isn't inherently wrong.
What is the parent doing wrong then by this metric? What are they doing that's wrong?
Abandoning their child.
That's not abandonment of a child.
Yes, it is. If you're not talking to them anymore, you won't see them. It's abandonment.
If you're 18 years old...
Okay, well, cutting off a relationship, whatever you want to call it.
If you're 18 years old, how the fuck are you abandoning a child?
Okay, well, you're cutting off all relationships then.
Yeah, so what? Why is that wrong? Why, don't you put off relationships with people based on behavioral standards?
Not when they're my family and my parents.
Why not?
Because they're family. What do you mean? I would never not talk to my parents. It doesn't matter what they do.
What would make it wrong for you?
My parents could kill someone, I'd still talk to them.
Based on behavior. Why would that even be wrong? Why would that even be a problem?
Because family, it's not all about like right and wrong. You know, you love each other
unconditionally.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean unconditionally?
Yeah. Have you ever had unconditional love? Do you know what that feels like?
Yeah, let's say you love them unconditionally. You haven't demonstrated this person doesn't love you. You've only demonstrated
by cutting them off means that
hang on. You haven't demonstrated they don't love you. You've only demonstrated they won't give in to your behavioral standard. That's it. They still love you.
I think we're just going in circles in this, if I'm honest, because agree to disagree. I think it would be unloving if my parents cut me off.
I think it's unloving that you won't conform to their behavioral standards.
Well, because I won't stop porn. Like, what?
Oh, because you demand that they accept porn.
my parents, my personal parents don't demand I stop porn, so that's
So let me ask you a question, Lily. If you go off and you do porn, you still love your parents?
Yes.
Okay, so why would it be the case that if your parents stopped talking to you because you went off and did corn, that meant they stopped loving you?
Well, wait, take that back. So if I did corn, I still love my parents. Is that the question? I do porn and I love my parents,
So why would your parents stop loving you just because you did corn, even if they stopped having a relationship with you?
I'm not talking about my personal parents aren't like this. But you're saying basically you would abandon your child, and I think I personally deem that you don't love your child if you will never speak to them or see them again because they do porn.
If they're 35 years old, are they still a child?
Pardon?
If they're 35 years old, are they still a child?
Oh, your child, your kid, whatever you want to call them.
Final point on this.
So here's the thing: you keep on saying you're abandoning your child as though this is a 3-year-old.
Oh, sorry,
right?
I'm using the wrong terminology. My parents still call me a child because I'm
there's no abandonment, Lily. You're not abandoning.
Well,
you're saying until you conform. What terminology
would you like me to use for
boundaries?
Someone your child as your child?
Boundaries.
Then if you don't want me to use the word child.
Yeah, but the reason that you're saying child is because you're infantilizing it. Like,
what word would you like me to say?
How about this then? How about this? Use the terminology "your adult child."
Okay.
See how that sounds?
So
you're abandoning you by having a behavioral standard for your adult child. Are abandoning your adult child. Say that out loud.
So you're abandoning your adult child because they do porn, so you don't love them anymore.
That means you don't love them anymore.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that the kid stops loving them because they won't conform to their behavior.
We're going to go around in circles because we're going to agree to disagree. I believe that if you were to abandon your child because they did porn, that you don't love them anymore.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Just one last question before Brian wraps this up. Is it, at least from your view, possible that a parent can absolutely love their child and still cut off contact with them based on behavior?
I personally don't think that would be loving. No, I think if you choose to be a parent,
if you were a PDF file,
I think if you choose to be a parent, you love that kid till it dies.
I didn't say
depending on what it does.
Listen, I literally conceded the love thing. I'm asking you this question.
Well, I think you stand by your child.
Even if they're PDF files?
I don't know what PDF files means.
Oh, yeah.
Kid.
You go after a kid?
A nonce.
My parents have always said, even if I kill someone, they would still stand by me.
So you would stand by, you think that a good parent stands by their kid even if they're PDF files?
They still love them and talk to them.
I didn't say anything about love.
Well, they'd still talk to them. They won't cut off contact now.
You can still love your kid, but that doesn't mean you have to accept the
Well, they would still keep contact with them. That's what I'm trying to say.
Why do they need to keep contact with them?
What? Because they're their child, and they have chosen to be a parent. At the end of the day as well, we can go around in circles about this.
All right, last question. All right, I lied. Okay, so last question.
This has to be the last. It has to be the last.
Last one. Could you conceive of having a boyfriend or an ex-husband?
What does conceive mean?
Hold on, let him finish. Let him finish.
Who still is in love with you, but stops talking to you?
What does conceive mean? Like, rephrase that maybe.
Can you think that it's possible that there could be an ex-husband or boyfriend who is still in love with a woman, but stops talking to her?
Yes, but that is so different. That's so different. The relationship is so different.
People, even if you cut
yes,
contact
but
off with
that
them.
type of relationship is so different.
I see, but it is possible to cut off contact with people instantly.
Oh my God! But yes, but
Yeah,
that type
but just
of
not with a
relationship
parent.
is very different.
So what about
Listen
the fact
to me.
that my sperm made you makes it so that it's suddenly not
thanks.
love? But if my sperm didn't make you, I still could love you. What part of that actually makes sense?
Do you want to keep talking and going around in circles?
Yes.
It's
Until
so.
we get
I
it
bet it's so
right. Yes,
boring to
I
listen
do.
to
Well, I
as
hope
well.
all your kids turned out just
All
how
right,
you want them to turn out.
Lucas says